$4,000 rents are creating a new class in San Francisco. People who technically do well, but now feel like they're struggling. Basically the help me, I'm poor meme, but in real life. The issue of affordability in San Francisco isn't new, but $4,250 for this one-bedroom apartment in the Mission is. Great location, no in-unit washer and dryer, and this is the bathroom. We talked to a financial planner who says even people in tech who felt very protected in other booms from the past now feel vulnerable.
To all the apartment complexes and rental property owners, I understand you have to protect your investment, but I don't know who came up with this. You have to make 3 times the rent. If your rent is $2,500 a month, who you think coming to stay there if they make $7,500 a month? They can just go and buy a house. That's what I did. As soon as I saw what y'all was charging, I said, I'm gonna go get a mortgage because it ain't number $1,500 a month and I can build equity. Also, if your rent is like $4,000, if I'm making $12,000, I'm going to get a mansion.
The rent in the apartment I just toured is $7,000 a month, but I can't even live there because they said for me and my 2 friends to live there, we have to make 103 times the monthly rent, which is about $720,000 a year. And I'm sorry, but at 24 years old, I'm not making $700,000 yet. Also, it's in the East Village. Are we serious? Lady showing us the apartment was like, if you and your 2 roommates want to move in here, you have to make 103 times the monthly rent to even apply.
On the lease, it's 45 times. If you are 2 people on the lease, it's 80 times, but for 3 people, it's 103 times.
Okay. They're asking for too much. They are asking for too much. Sure, we will gladly pay your 40 times the rent, 7,000 times 40, whatever. We'll pay the 40 times. 103 times? I'm gagged.
Landlords, you're not checking our credit score anymore. You're checking our blood pressure. You want 3 times the monthly income to rent some of these places. Average rent in America just hit $3,000. So $9,000 a month. The average American is not making that kind of money. This shit's crazy, dude.
How are y'all paying $2,000 for an apartment? Not even how. Why? So I'm gonna do some back in the day type shit and show y'all the apartment that I had, I think in 2012, and how much I paid for my luxury apartment. So in 2012, my apartment was $850 a month. It is now $1,900. That's on the low end. It's going up to between $1,900 and $3,100. I paid $850 in 2011. 2011, 2012, yeah.
Like, EK, does this timeline work for you? You know, have you found any leads? Like, fuck you.
The landlord is getting really pushy and it sucks because I'm like, you guys stopped responding to me for days. Why are you just now rushing?
Wasn't informed of the rent increase. They were like, the previous leaseholder would have been emailed about the rent increase. And I'm like, well, that's weird because I'm the one who's going to be re-signed.
Week out from July, still have no idea what's about to happen.
For anyone that rents an apartment in America, let me know if you remember this hilarious story. Do you remember in 2020 when all of the rents came down because of the global crisis that was happening? And all the landlords reluctantly were just like, all right, we'll bring it down for a little bit because you're all dying or whatever. But don't get used to it. It's not going to stay like this. And we were all just like, we're busy. We can't think about this right now. So whatever. Then they stayed down for most of 2020 and 2021. And then in 2022, we all got our renewals. And they weren't just like, oh, we're going back to pre-pandemic levels. They were like, we're going back to pre-pandemic levels and also double what you're paying. And we were just like, but that can't be, you can't do that, right? And they were just like, we can do whatever we want. And then we went to the government and we were like, can they do whatever they want? And the government was just like, who are you, you peasant? And then we were like, okay, well, if my rent is doubling, then screw it. I guess I'll just find some other place to live. And then you realize that everybody's rent did this, almost as if they talked to each other about this stuff. There was literally nowhere to go. But then a lot of what I heard was just like, well, it's just reaction. It's an overreaction because of, you know, some of the money they lost in the pandemic and blah, blah, blah. But it'll come back down eventually. Real? When's that? When's that going to happen?
Eventually. That's no timeline, really. Eventually means it'll happen someday. When? We don't know. And I knew this would happen as well. I remember during the pandemic, they were giving out all that rent relief. People's rents were down. I said, they're going to get theirs. They gonna get it. Right now, it's looking like the people are winning. They're getting a break. I knew something like what's happening and what's been going on would happen. I knew there would be increases like there are. I knew the rent would increase like it has. They're going to find a way to get theirs. The business owners, the corporations, the landlords, they always win. The American people never come out on top. I knew there would be repercussions from all the free money too. I'm like, this gonna mess up the economy. Here comes increased inflation.
Truth is, most people don't be getting approved for these apartments because the complexes make money off the application fees. They got the rent has the trees, and they don't plan on lowering it because they know they make money off the application fees. They'd rather leave the unit vacant because nobody can afford to live in it instead of lowering the prices. Why? Because they make money off the application fees. People are always going to continue to apply to these units. They're going to sell you a dream to make you believe, oh, you got a chance. Well, if you make 3 times the rent, oh, yeah, you might be able to. Oh, yeah. You could get a cosigner, a guarantor. They're selling you a dream. So in our minds, we're thinking, why would they not lower the rent so somebody can rent out the unit and they can get consistent money when we pay our rent every month? That's not how they think. You know how many people, and matter of fact, if you knew how many people were applying to apartments daily because people need somewhere to stay because not everybody is ready to buy a house, can buy a house, has a down payment to buy a house. You've ever applied to apartments, you know that an application fee can even run you up high as $75. Once I spent $75, I done basically spent $100. In my world, I spent $100. So if I'm applying to 2 apartments, it's $200+ on just the application fee. Just the application fee. That is just to find out if I'm approved or denied.
So I just feel like with the price of everything right now, especially the rent prices, I was just looking at this post of a guy who was paying $900. No, I think he was paying like $800 or $900 for a 1-bedroom in 2019. And that same 1-bedroom apartment is now $1,700. And I just think that's ridiculous. And I'm trying to figure out what is the end goal here, especially with AI. What is the end goal? Are things just going to keep increasing until people cannot afford anything? Is it going to be time for some sort of uprising, some sort of fight against this? I don't know. Just interesting.
Prices will keep increasing and there won't be a fight against it. It hasn't started yet. When will it start? People are turning a blind eye to prices. They're either paying them or they're not. What's the end goal? Own nothing, be happy. In other words, own nothing. They'll be happy, you'll be miserable. They want to tokenize real world assets. Everything on the planet, including water, they want to tokenize it and own it. That's the end goal, if you really want to know.